Hey guys, Jennifer here and welcome to the Family Fudge. In today's video, I'm back with even more easy breakfast ideas to share with you. So many of you loved last week's breakfast video and asked if I could do even more. So yes, that's exactly what I'm gonna do today. Now, of course, all of these breakfast ideas are perfect for meal prepping or batch cooking, but they also all include some kind of time-saving shortcut. Now, before we get started, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button and don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our new videos. Okay guys, now first up I have a delicious breakfast sandwich to share with you. Now I've made so many different kinds of breakfast sandwiches over the years, but this one's a little bit different. Now with these sandwiches, you definitely could make a big batch and stick some in the freezer, or you could just make a few extra, keep them in the fridge, and pull them out whenever you need them throughout the week. For these breakfast sandwiches, I'm gonna start by cubing up this ham steak. Using ham instead of sausage or bacon can be such a great time saver because of course it's already cooked. And you guys, ham steak is super affordable. It was only $3 for this huge piece. Now I've cut these a little bit smaller than bite size, and now I'm going to set them aside and prep my other ingredients. I went ahead and cut up some green onion. Now I'm going to set those aside and get cracking on the eggs. Now I want to put together a lot of these sandwiches, so I'm going to crack a dozen eggs, a full dozen right into this bowl. Next I'm going to add 1/3 cup of milk, about a teaspoon of salt because there's a lot of eggs in here, and then just a little bit of pepper. Of course you can salt and pepper these to your tastes however you like it. So at this point I just have to whisk all these eggs together, and I'm also going to turn my oven on to 350 because I'm actually going to be baking these eggs in the oven. Now, if I have the choice between scrambling eggs on the stovetop or sticking the eggs in the oven, I kind of like sticking them in the oven. It might take a little bit more time, but I don't have to stand there and watch them cook and stir them up. I can just put them in the oven, turn on my timer, and they do their thing. But at the same time, I don't want these eggs to stick, so I'm going to go ahead and spray my pan. And then this part is optional, but you also could add a layer of parchment paper as well. So now I'm going to dump these directly into my pan. I believe this is an 11 by 16 inch pan, and it has nice deep sides on it so I don't have to worry about the eggs overflowing or anything like that. 12 eggs fit perfectly in this pan. Next I'm going to add the ham that I diced up earlier, followed by the green onions, and then I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of cheese on top as well. Not too much because I am going to add slices of cheese to the breakfast sandwiches right before I serve them. So now I'm going to stick these into my oven at 350 degrees for only about 20 minutes. Now the next thing you're going to need for these waffle breakfast sandwiches is waffles, of course. And you guys, if you want to make them from scratch, go ahead. Making them from scratch will definitely be delicious. You could probably save some money making your own as well. But these breakfasts are all about shortcuts. Instead of making my own waffles, I'm just going to use these whole grain Eggos. These ones are perfect for the breakfast sandwich because they don't have added sugars. And just like that, our eggs are done. And these might look a little bit funny, but trust me, they're going to taste really good. These cooked perfectly all the way through, and because my family's not actually eating these right now, I let them cool down all the way, so now I can go ahead and cut them and package them up. Now you can pretty much cut these however you like. It really just depends on the size of your waffles. And by the way, you guys, if you don't want to use waffles, you could totally do the same process, but then go ahead and use English muffins or even a croissant instead. Now there are a couple different ways you can store these at this point. What I usually like to do is store the eggs separately, and then in the morning when I need to make breakfast, they're already ready to go. All I have to do is toast the waffle, microwave the eggs, add cheese, and my breakfast sandwich is ready to go. So if I was making these for the freezer, I would start with 2 waffles that have not been toasted yet. Next, I would add a slice of cheese, followed by our eggs, place the other waffle on top, and then wrap it up. Now when it comes time to reheat these, you could pull them directly from the freezer and pop them into the oven or the toaster oven. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll remove the egg part and microwave that, and I'll take just the waffle parts and stick those in the toaster. That way they can be nice and crispy and the eggs and cheese can be nice and warm, then I just put them all back together. Next up, I'm going to be making some tropical overnight oats. My kids love overnight oats, and don't worry you guys, this recipe is really simple. I know I've seen some overnight oat recipes that have like 12 different ingredients, but not this one. Out of all of my meal prep breakfasts, this one is definitely the kids' favorite. They love it, and I actually am a big fan of it too. And when it comes to overnight oats, I like to use these little plastic ball jars. These are really great because they have a leak-proof lid, and they seem a little bit small, but they actually hold 8 ounces, which for my kids is like the perfect amount. Now the first thing I'm gonna do is cut up this fresh mango. Right now my grocery store has a really good deal on mango. You're also gonna need some pineapple. Now of course you could go ahead and chop up fresh pineapple. I'm gonna go ahead and use pineapple tidbits instead. And then the last fruit I need to prepare is banana. And of course if you're gonna make a big batch of these, you're gonna wanna double or triple these ingredients. So now I have all the ingredients ready, and it's looking like a lot of tropical goodness. Now you really could use any yogurt that you prefer. Sometimes I'll use Greek yogurt. I really like this vanilla one from Trader Joe's, but my kids' favorite is actually the good old low-fat vanilla yogurt. Now to the bottom of each of these cups, I'm gonna start by adding a 1/4 cup of rolled oats. These are just good old-fashioned oats, nothing fancy about them. They're not cooked, they're not sweetened, it's just oats. Next, I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of the yogurt directly on top. Next, I'm going to add a layer of banana to each cup. Then I'm gonna go ahead and bury the bananas with 2 more spoonfuls of yogurt. I really like to trap the bananas inside the yogurt, that way they won't turn all brown and get mushy. Now these are looking pretty full already, but I still have some delicious things to add on top. I'm adding about 2 to 3 spoonfuls of pineapple, followed by a couple of spoonfuls of the mango. And I'm gonna press it down in there as tightly as I can. And lastly, I'm gonna top it all off with some shredded coconut. Now, just like with any overnight oats, you stick the lid on and stick them in the fridge. Sometimes we'll eat them directly from these little jars, and other times I'll actually dump them into a bowl, mix it all up, and eat it just like that. Trust me you guys, this one is really good, especially if you're a fan of tropical fruit. Up next, I'm going to be making some breakfast bowls. Now the awesome thing about these is that they are totally customizable. You could add any kind of breakfast meat, any kind of veggies that you like, but when I make these, usually what I like to do is sort of make them like the filling for a breakfast burrito. Now first I'm going to show you the regular way to make these, and then I'm going to show you my shortcut way. For the regular recipe, I'm going to start by chopping up some potatoes. These are Yukon Gold potatoes, so I don't have to peel them at all. And I'm going to dice these pretty small because I want them to cook quickly. Now I'm using about 2 pounds of potatoes. So now that I have my potatoes chopped up, I'll go ahead and add those to a separate bowl. I'll go ahead and set those aside and chop up the rest of the veggies. Today I'm going pretty classic here because I want my kids to eat these too. I have some bell pepper, some onion, and a few sweet mini peppers as well. Now I already cut these into big chunks, but I have to confess you guys, my knife skills are not the greatest. So when it comes to chopping up a lot of veggies, I like to use this little food chopper gadget. I found this on Amazon. And for me, it definitely saves time. I can chop up a ton of veggies. They come out perfectly every time. They're all the same size. And I don't cut my fingers, which of course is the best part. Now I cut these with the medium-sized blades, but you could use the even smaller blade if you wanted to. Sometimes I do that with veggies that my kids aren't really big fans of. That way they end up being so small, they don't even notice them. Okay guys, so now that I have the potatoes chopped up, all of my veggies, it's time to get them into the oven. So I'm gonna use a big sheet pan here, and that brings me to another time-saving tip. I'm going to line this sheet pan with some aluminum foil because that's gonna make cleanup so much easier. After I roast these potatoes and these veggies, all I'll have to do is remove the foil and throw it away. I don't have to worry about scrubbing out this pan. So now I'm gonna go ahead and spread this all out into one nice thin layer. This pan is almost not big enough, but I think it'll be okay. Now before I stick these into my preheated oven, I'm gonna drizzle a little bit of olive oil. And I also want to add plenty of seasonings, things like salt, pepper, and then anything else that you really like on your veggies, like rosemary would be really good. You could add garlic, whatever you like. So now I'll go ahead and get these into my oven at 425, and these do take a little bit of time, about 45 minutes. Okay guys, time for another time-saving tip. If you're really short on time and chopping up all the potatoes and the veggies seems like too much, you could always try using these. These are called Simply Potatoes, and you find these in the refrigerated section near the eggs. They're not frozen, they're actually fresh potatoes that have already been chopped, and these ones already have onion and peppers and seasonings already in the bag. So you could just go ahead and open this bag, throw it on a roasting pan, and get it into the oven. That would save a lot of time. So while the potatoes and veggies are in the oven, I'm gonna go ahead and scramble up the eggs. I'm gonna go ahead and cook a whole dozen here, and that's gonna leave me with about 6 breakfast bowls. So if you wanted to double or triple this, you definitely could make more. To these eggs, I also added a 1/4 cup of milk and plenty of salt and pepper. Then all you have to do is scramble them up like you would with any scrambled eggs. Pretty basic here. Now, if you want to add meat to these breakfast bowls, you definitely could. Things like ham or bacon or sausage would be perfect. For my breakfast bowls, I'm gonna go ahead and use this fully cooked turkey sausage. Now, I showed this to you in my last video, and you guys, it's so good, it's so convenient. Having this already cooked is definitely gonna be a time saver. Now that I have all of my different components ready, it's time to build these breakfast bowls. Now you can use any container that you like. My containers are on the smaller side because I want these to be kid-sized breakfasts. Now I found these ones at Walmart. They're called Rubbermaid takeaways, I believe, and they're actually really good little containers. So now it's just as easy as adding a few scoops of each ingredient until they're all gone. So we have our potatoes, the scrambled eggs, the sausage. I also like to throw in a little bit of cheese, a few green onions, and then I also really like to add a little bit of mild salsa. If I was making this for myself, I might also add some hot sauce. I'm gonna go ahead and add the lid and pop them into the fridge. These will stay good for a few days, but what I really like to do if I'm at home is actually take it out of the plastic container. I'll just go ahead and pour all of it into my regular glass bowl, heat it up in the microwave, and eat it just like that. For my next breakfast idea, I'm going to be making some muffins. My kids absolutely love breakfast muffins, and muffins are perfect for meal planning. You can really make a ton of them and stick them into the freezer. They'll stay good in there for a long time, and then you just pull them out as you need them. Now for these muffins today, I'm trying something a little bit different. Now sometimes when I make muffins for my kids, they end up being hungry again like an hour later. They just tend to not be that filling on their own. So for these muffins today, I'm gonna try using this Kodiak cake, pancake, and waffle mix. They have a ton of protein in them, lots of whole grains, and right on the side of the box there's a recipe for muffins, so it can be done. Now usually I buy the Kodiak cake pancake mix at Costco, but I recently went to a grocery outlet store where I found this box of peanut butter flavored pancake mix for 77 cents for this box, which is a steal, such a good deal. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below if you've ever tried this before, if you've ever followed a recipe on your pancake mix to make something else. Now back to the muffins. To make these, all I have to do is add 2 cups of the pancake mix, followed by a 1/4 cup of sweetener. You could use honey, maple syrup, or brown sugar. Next, I'm adding in a 1/4 cup of oil. Whenever I'm baking, I like to use coconut oil, that's my favorite. Then I'm gonna add 1 egg, and then 2 ripe, smashed bananas. So these are gonna end up being peanut butter banana muffins, which is a combination my kids love. Whoops, you guys, I almost forgot. This recipe also needs 1 cup of milk. So I went ahead and used almond milk since I'm all out of regular milk. So now I just have to mix this all up and get it into my muffin tins. Now anytime I'm making muffins of any kind, I always like to use my silicone liners. That just makes it so easy to clean. Nothing sticks to the pan. They are awesome. Now I totally think that some chocolate chips would have been perfect to add into these muffins. You know, that combination of chocolate, peanut butter, and banana. But unfortunately, my kids got into the freezer and ate all of my chocolate chips. So that's okay, no chocolate chips for these muffins. Now these cooked really fast, only about 12 minutes at 350. And once they're all the way cooled down, I'm just gonna store them in this airtight container. That way they can stay nice and fresh for several days. Okay guys, if you enjoyed this video today, please give it a big thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to come back tomorrow for lots of fun lunch ideas. Bye guys.